It's Thursday, April 20th, and this is Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. We're at a different time today, but that's just for today, and we're still bringing you the latest local news, including a shooting in Bridgeport, a police impersonator in Greenwich, front page previews later on, and much more. Frank Granito has your forecast and a Nutmeg Sports Update, and Donald Ang joins us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, on to today's news. A Stamford man in his 20s was shot dead across from McLevy Green in downtown Bridgeport early this morning. That, according to the Connecticut Post. Police Chief Armando Perez said the man, who was not identified, was shot while walking to his white Mercedes on State Street. Perez told the Post they had a party and something went wrong. The victim went out to his car, and it appears that somebody either followed him or was waiting for him and ended up shooting him. He was shot twice. Police have not disclosed the location of the party. Yellow crime tape encircled McLevy Green this morning as police continued their investigation. It appears to be centered on the part of McLevy Green where the stage is set up for concerts and performances. The death brought a flurry of police activity to the park around 12:30 this morning. Banks and State Street were closed during that crime scene investigation, which covered the entire block of downtown well into the morning commute. And in other news, police say a 32-year-old Norwalk man tried to lure a girl into his car, grabbing her by the wrist at one point. This happened Tuesday night around 8:30 when a Norwalk police officer patrolling Chestnut Street observed a man in a white Toyota, now identified as Angel Jimenez Barzolo, talking to a juvenile. When the officer drove near, that Toyota sped away. Upon speaking to the officer, that juvenile said that the male had asked her to get into the car. After tracking Jimenez Barzalo down, investigators learned he had also allegedly grabbed the juvenile's wrist and hand during that encounter and only let go when he saw that police car. He was arrested and held on a $50,000 bond. And a New York man was arrested by state police in Greenwich for impersonating an officer. Police arrested 47-year-old Popeye C. Whittingham Thursday evening after receiving numerous 911 calls reporting that a Nissan SUV was traveling recklessly with emergency lights activated near Exit 3 on I-95. Troop G Dispatch was able to view that vehicle via a DOT camera along I-95. That Nissan was observed passing vehicles by traveling on and off the center medium, tailgating other cars, as well as splitting the lanes and cutting from side to side on the highway with those lights activated. Two troopers that were stopped in the area of I-95 northbound near Exit 17 that were investigating different crashes observed the Nissan as it approached and passed them with those lights on. One of those troopers was able to stop the Nissan. The operator, Popeye Whittingham, led troopers to believe he was a New York City police officer and displayed a detective badge. Upon further investigation, troopers learned that Whittingham has no police powers and is a volunteer clergy bishop with the NYPD 32nd Precinct. He was taken into custody on numerous charges, including unauthorized use of lights and impersonating an officer. State police say if you suspect that you're being pulled over by a fake police officer, call 911 immediately. The operator can take your information and they can determine whether or not a trooper is in that area attempting to pull you over. And in other news, a Rhode Island man, 31-year-old Keith Duncan, was arrested for threatening the victim of a crime that had taken place in New Canaan back in October 2016. On Tuesday, Duncan was charged with tampering with a witness, second-degree threatening, for a criminal violation of a standing criminal protective order. The New Canaan police traveled to the Rhode Island Correctional Facility in Cranston, Rhode Island, to take Duncan into custody for that arrest. He was held on a $25,000 bond for a court date yesterday. Police said the incident was domestic in nature, and they did not release additional details. And a Connecticut woman that authorities say advertised dominatrix services online has been charged extorting a man by threatening to release videos of the client unless he paid her off. The Waterbury Republican American reports that Fatine Ann Ward is being held on a $100,000 bond on charges of larceny, voyeurism with malice, and disseminating voyeuristic materials. Authorities say Ward and the Mount Kisco, New York man made contact through Backpage.com. He told police he paid paid Ward $250 for 2 sessions, but noticed she was using her phone during that second encounter. He says she threatened to post video online where his family and friends could find it. The two negotiated payments of more than $5,000, and he paid more than half of that before contacting police. Ward denied the charges when interviewed by police. And Darien police paid a visit to the parents of 2 young Darien boys involved in criminal mischief on April 13th. A custodian at the Heights, Alan O'Neill at 24 Alan O'Neill Drive, captured cell phone footage of the pair throwing rocks at a stockade fence on the property. The rocks made fist-size holes in that fence. The custodian shared the video with the director of the Darien Housing Authority and police, who were able to identify the boys, who were both under the age of 10, as well as their parents. Damage to that fence was valued at about $200, and the family agreed to pay for those repairs. Well, let's switch gears now. Throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And it's a little cloudy out there. Showers have cleared out for now. Warmer out today as we're looking at temperatures reaching a high of 65. We saw rain and drizzle for most of the morning. That's going to turn into showers shortly. Those through the afternoon will carry into the evening. We'll see on and off periods of rain overnight, and there is a chance for scattered thunderstorms as well before Friday morning. Cooler out tomorrow as temperatures sit in the low 50s and the overnight rain hangs around through the morning. We can expect 1 or 2 more passing showers afternoon and more light rain and drizzle in the evening. Cloudy through the day and overnight heading into the weekend, where it should start to clear up again. Mostly cloudy skies Saturday morning, but there will be intervals of sun throughout the afternoon and temperatures back up into the 60s. We enjoy some sunshine for the first time in a few days. Cloud cover starts to increase again overnight as the dry weather will be short-lived, though. More rain is expected on Sunday. I'll do it for the weather. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, those weather tongue twisters, Frank. I know, they get you sometimes. All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Donald Dang has a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and there's more local news after this.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now during the spring clearance event, now through April 30th.
La France de Chartrenet, c'est la France de tous les Français.
At Worcester School, we believe summer is a time for kids to be kids. We provide the safe and nurturing environment for them to find activities that match their interests and allow them to create lasting friendships. Summer at Worcester offers 7 weekly sessions at our Danbury campus from Monday, June 26th through Friday, August 11th for pre-K to grade 8. Find out more about our extended hours, new optional lunch program, and a new low price at summer@worcester.org or 203-830-3921. Summer at Worcester, experience the difference.
Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Wild Birds Unlimited of Brookfield, get expert advice from our certified bird feeding specialists. We offer always fresh, clean seed that will be sure to attract birds to your home feeder. Experience our excellent customer service. Open 7 days a week. Visit us at 317 Federal Road, Brookfield.
Wild Birds Unlimited. We bring people and nature together.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars. Wow. Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Welcome back to this April 20th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Let's throw it over to Donald Eng to take a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, Kate, we had an environmental disaster 20 times worse than the Exxon Valdez, but first, though, we go all the way back to 1814 in England. Abraham Thornton goes free rather than face a retrial for the murder of Mary Ashford, who had been found drowned but with no outward side of violence the morning after the two had met at a dance. Thornton had been acquitted by a jury, but her brother William appealed the decision, and when he was rearrested, Thornton invoked his right to trial by battle, a relic of medieval Normans which hadn't happened in centuries but was still an option for certain cases. William declined the challenge. Thornton went free. Parliament struck the practice from the legal code the following year. That was the final time that was ever invoked. 1862, Louis Pasteur and Claude Bernard complete the experiment falsifying the theory of spontaneous generation. That is the idea that life could spontaneously generate from non-life. That idea dated back to Aristotle, who had observed maggots appearing in rotting meat and determined they must have spontaneously generated. 1912, opening day for Tiger Stadium in Detroit and Fenway Park in Boston. 4 years later, the Cubs would play their first game at Weeghman Park, which we now call Wrigley Field. Fenway and Wrigley are the oldest two stadiums in Major League Baseball. The third, Dodger Stadium, which is 50 years younger than Fenway. Finally, now we go to 2010, 7 years ago for this.
You hear like cranes falling down and decks collapsing and everything.
At that point in time, I issued a warning to all the firefighting units to be ready for an emergency escape.
Then when at 10:15 the list started changing, you started to see it changing rapidly.
And from my vantage point on the stern, which was directly in eye shot of the lowest point, we could see the aft starboard corner starting to slowly
That was, of course, the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig, which exploded in the Gulf of Mexico on this day in 2010, killing 11 workers, causing an inextinguishable fire that would last until the rig sank. It also caused the largest environmental disaster in U.S. history. As I mentioned, the Exxon Valdez spilled 11 million gallons of crude oil. Deepwater Horizon spilled nearly 220 million gallons of crude. BP so far has paid $54 billion in cleanup costs and fines. As you look back in history for today, April 20th, I'm Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, Stratford Mayor John Harkins reached an agreement with and paid $250 to the State Elections Enforcement Commission after being accused of using public dollars to advocate the sale of the town's Water Pollution Control Authority plant. As part of the stipulated agreement reached on February 27th, Harkins agreed to work closely with the SEEC in the future and made a voluntary payment of the $250 to the commission to settle a complaint that had been filed by Mark Dumas, a former town councilman and critic of Harkins. The mayor said the complaint was baseless and that no wrongdoing was admitted. The SEEC approved the agreement on March 22nd, and it was made public last week. Harkins attorney Kevin Reynolds and the SEEC executive director Michael Branley signed the agreement. More on that story at StratfordStar.com. But let's throw it back over to Frank Granito for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank?
Thank you, Kate. And yesterday, the HAN Network was live at Ridgefield High School for our first boys volleyball match of the spring season. We saw the Ridgefield Tigers, the three-time defending state champions, taking on the Staples Wreckers. Staples, the only team last season to beat the Tigers besides Darien. They would not be as lucky yesterday, though. Ridgefield winning 3-0 by sets of 25-22, 25-19, and 26-24. The Tigers are still yet to drop a single set all season. They were led up front by a strong performance from the seniors that were Nick Ladowdy, Henrik Liapunov, that is Josh Verdejo, and Jack Lincoln. As the Tigers rolled, here's a look at the highlights from yesterday's volleyball. This is the HAN Network's coverage of FCAC boys volleyball as we get set to see the three-time defending state champion Richfield Tigers when they play host to the Staples Wreckers. Serve that might have been out was played anyways. Far side for Lincoln for the win. Still alive. This one's got to go over though on the third touch. And it is off the ceiling back to the Wreckers. Tough way to lose the first game.
Again, another good serve by Miles Peckham.
Far side, Brill trying to keep this set going. Right inside. Up over the net, blocked by DeVerjo. They give the point to the Tigers. The second set as well. It's a little short of the net. Far side. Opportunity to win it. Over to Lincoln. Got it. It was set point for the Wreckers. Just 3 strikes later, the Tigers are still perfect on the year. A huge win for Ridgefield, who now moves to 6-0 on the season, and they stare ahead to next Friday when they will have a rematch of both the FCAC and state championship at Darien against the Blue Wave. We'll have live coverage of that match, and next Thursday afternoon on Nutmeg Sports, we'll be joined by the captains of the Tigers to preview that game. Other big scores from around the conference yesterday saw Wilton score the game's final 3 goals in boys lacrosse to come back and defeat rival Ridgefield 9-8. New Canaan girls Lax held off a late surge from the Ludlow Falcons for a 10-8 win. The Rams remained unbeaten in baseball when they took down the Stanford Black Knights 10-2 yesterday as well. We will have a complete breakdown this afternoon on Nutmeg Sports with myself, Kevin Coleman, and Donald Eng. That, of course, at 2 p.m. after the Yankee fisherman who makes his long-awaited return. Kate, I got my fish and shark tie out in anticipation as well.
That's awesome. All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, we are going to step out for a break. When we come back, John Kovach, the Yankee fisherman, joins me to preview our front pages this week, right after this.
Part of banking well is doing good. That's why, with the support of local community partners, Bankwell has launched the Bankwell Pet Adoption Project to boost awareness about the hundreds of animals in local shelters that need a home. And when you donate to the cause using the Bankwell self-service coin machines, we'll match your donation. For details, visit mybankwell.com/pleaseadoptme. Bank smart, bank local, bank well.
Spring has sprung at Walter Stewart's Market, and we're celebrating the new season with fresh takes on spring. From the finest produce around to guaranteed fresh seafood delivered daily by the best local supplier. Not only are we your time-saving one-stop shop for everything you need this season, our personable team is always ready with a helping hand. Shop Stewart's for the best of spring. Find us at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The dock shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
Did you know heart attacks and strokes are the leading cause of death in America? Protect the health of you and your loved ones. Talk to a doctor about heart disease. Hi, I'm Dr. David Pazer with ProHealth Physicians, encouraging you to stay informed about health matters that affect you.
ProHealth Physicians is on the pulse of social media to share information about health and nutrition with the community. Get up-to-the-minute alerts, including ProHealth Physicians' news and upcoming events. Connecticut's leading group of primary care doctors is just a click away.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
Join the HAN Network and Make-A-Wish Connecticut to help make travel wishes come true for local kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Donate your unused airline miles to the HAN Network's Wishes in Flight campaign. Over 70% of wishes granted involve travel, and your unused airline miles can help make kids' dreams become a reality. Plus, once you donate your miles to Make-A-Wish, they never expire. Donate your miles at ct.wish.org/HAN Network and help us change lives, one wish at a time.
Welcome back to this Thursday edition of Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, joined now by editorial director John Kovac to preview our front pages this week. John, what are you looking at?
I am looking at the Reading pilot, where just an awful story that began to unfold Friday night. 6 teenagers from Fairfield, Easton, and Reading injured in a horrific crash in Reading. We're keeping abreast of that situation. A story about more ticks for Lyme disease. Reading's getting ready for a couple events. Bethel has invited Readingites to participate in their Pride Parade on April 23rd. The Frog Frolic is coming up on April 29th. And we have a feature on Nancy Cross, who is an 83-year-old Meadow Ridge retirement community resident who volunteers her time performing as a clown.
All right, well, taking a look at the Ridgefield Press, some recent antiques appraisal at Founders Hall. It's people bringing in their antiques, finding out how much they're worth. We also have the Winter Club riling up neighbors, saying no to the skate club. So more on that story in the Ridgefield Press, and parents debating over changing school start times, particularly at the high school, where the start time is quite early and some people live farther away from the school. An interesting story, but the Prospector Theater, which employs people with developmental disabilities, has been named the state's employer of the year. Really great place. Definitely check it out.
In Easton, also lead news, that horrific car crash the other night. A story about connections being made between students at Helen Keller Middle School and senior citizens there. Selectmen in Easton voted to extend the police chief's contract, and some P&Z approvals, including new members and affordable apartments.
All right, taking a look at the Darien Times, an exciting event this week that I'm sure many in Darien will enjoy, and that's the boys and girls lax team facing off as a fundraiser to help pay for those field lights that have been approved by the proper town committees. Now, there's also some scenes of Easter. We have kind of two of the main Easter scenes, which is the carrying of the cross, of course, and the Easter Bunny. There you go. And P&Z talking Delafield Island, home plan and tree restoration, and a story on Governor Malloy announcing he will not seek a third term.
In Milford, Jill Dion was on the scene Saturday night as tragedy unfolded in the waters of the Long Island Sound. A doctor from Long Island who passed on after being knocked off of a boat into the cold waters there. An audit of special education done by the school board. A city forum is going to focus on bobcats, and we're seeing more and more of them around the area. And this is a story that'll be in some of our papers. As you know, we're still doing the Wishes in Flight campaign, trying to collect as many unused airline miles as we can. This young boy from Wilton got to meet John Cena, and it actually made some national headlines because John Cena interacted with him, and it was on one of the national WWE broadcasts.
That's so cool. All right, well, taking a look at the Wilton Bulletin, love under the stage lights for one Wilton couple. You can read more about that, story by Jeanette Ross. Also, the top Wilton Public School earners, and a couple celebrating 30 years in the art world. And of course, a story as part of our Wishes in Flight campaign with Make-A-Wish Connecticut. And you can donate those unused airline miles at ct.wish.org/HAN Network. John?
In Stratford, some borders are going to finally be put up around the Raymark ball field site, separating neighbors from the Raymark waste as that saga that's going on for decades continues. Mayor John Harkins, who will not be seeking a new term, has reached an agreement and paid $250 to the State Elections Enforcement Commission after a complaint was filed about public dollars. There's no admission of guilt, but an agreement to settle the case. An Easter egg hunt and a fire on Tuesday morning that caused heavy damage to a home near the Stratford-Shelton border.
All right, taking a look at the Trumbull Times. The state planning some Route 111 improvements. Another Make-A-Wish story, this about Cole, who's going to travel from Monroe to Italy to tour the supercar factories there. Very exciting. Less exciting, a knife-wielding woman arrested at the mall. Another story Trumbull Times was covering, a toddler hospitalized after falling from a window. First Selectman Tim Herbst saying all Democrats are to blame for the state of the state. We just talked to First Selectman Herbst yesterday on CT Pulse.
That was a good interview with him, by the way.
Very interesting.
Kate.
You know, he was just diagnosed with thyroid cancer. We talked about that. Talked about his run for governor. So it was an interesting interview.
In Weston, the budget referendum is next Thursday, April 27th. Planning and Zoning is pondering a dog park still. That's one of many communities in which a dog park may soon come. A op-ed about leaving coyotes alone. The Ospreys have returned to Weston. I was excited. I was watching them when we were doing the game at Fairfield Ludlow the other night. Community planning conversation with the Planning and Zoning Commission. That's coming up Saturday at Weston High School. And Jean Marie Wiesen has written her first book, which is a mystery, The Case of the Missing Lookalikes.
All right. Taking a look at the Shelton Herald, Mayor Mark Loretti saying he will not investigate a fire inspector who the Board of Fire Commissioners thinks might have been an invalid appointment. More on that story in the Shelton Herald. The SHS robotics team advancing to the International Championship. Shelton known for their very successful robotics program, so very cool there. Shelton man arrested for arson on Easter Sunday. And of course, another story, part of our Wishes in Flight campaign.
New Canaan residents can attend a talk about cell towers on Monday at 7:30 at Town Hall. This is something that's going on for decades there. Grace Farms is seeking a permit for its current activities. Panoramic shot of the inside of the Congregational Church of New Canaan at the 9 a.m. Easter Sunday service. Another Make-A-Wish story, but this is Hobbs Incorporated and Hobbs Care, and they granted a treehouse wish to a New Canaan child. And the fishing derby was held in New Canaan. That always draws a lot of people. There's a youngster with his catch and a great photo by Dave Stewart.
All right, very cool. All right, the Monroe Courier, Congressman Jim Himes and Google employees discussing internet safety at Jockey Hollow Middle School in Monroe. Also a public meeting to discuss a traffic study. And First Selectman Steve Vavrick urging residents to reach out to their legislators.
In our New Canaan Advertiser this week is the New Canaan section. These are formerly known as the Answer Book. It's a community guide. Beautiful shot there, the cherry blossoms in front of Sachs Middle School in New Canaan, and that is in the New Canaan Advertiser this week.
All right, just a quick look at our arts and leisure section. Jazz, gospel, rap artists, and others aim to inspire in a message of hope and action at an April 28th concert at the Klein. I know the Drive with Denise talked a lot more about that earlier this week. And another section we have in our papers this week is green lifestyle. Very cool, talking about greener options in fashion and driving, so definitely check that out. All right, John. Well, this was fun. We haven't done it in a while.
We haven't done this in a while.
Yankee Fisherman's coming up at 1 o'clock.
I haven't done that in a while.
I know. What's coming up?
While we were away, trout season opened in Connecticut. We're going to take a look back at that. And we're going to take a look back at the Fairfield Police Athletic League Trout Derby, which was held the week before trout season opened. It was a fun day for a lot of kids. It was interesting in a number of ways, and you'll see that at 1 o'clock on Yankee Fisherman.
Great. Coming up in just a little bit, since coffee breaks at a special time today, 2 o'clock, Nutmeg Sports, and we will see you for your coffee break tomorrow at 11. Have a great day.